to Whole Brain Teaching Classroom Rules. I am Joanna Willis. I am a Platinum Certified Trainer with Whole Brain Teaching. I am so excited to be here today. I teach second grade in Illinois, and I'm going to bring on my two very special friends, starting with Weston. Weston, say hello, introduce yourself.
Good morning. My name is Weston Lamb Costantino. I'm a gold certified whole brain teacher. I teach elementary music here in Wyoming.
Awesome. And bringing in Kyla.
Good morning. I am Kyla Tesmer. I teach third grade in North Carolina, and I am also gold certified.
Yes. All right. Oh, hi, Melissa and Lakidra and other Facebook users. Okay. So I'm going to move Kyla back to the studio. She's going to be like our producer today in the background. And so we're going to say goodbye, Kyla. All right. So we are here today to do the classroom rules. We're just going to do 2 classroom rules today to keep it short. And tell me I'm still cool. I need to play with my layout. Thank you. I was like, where's my layout? There we go. I had to get the right layout. Oh, gosh. This is why we have that group to practice, right? Okay. Share screen. And there it is. There we go. Classroom rules 1 and 2. So we're going to be teaching these rules using the magic circle. And so here we go with rule 1. Class.
Yes.
Thank you, class.
You're welcome, Joanna.
Mirror words.
Mirror words.
Rule 1.
Rule 1.
Follow directions quickly.
Follow directions quickly.
Rule 1.
Rule 1.
Follow directions quickly.
Follow directions quickly.
Mirrors off.
Mirrors off.
All right, I'm going to clap twice and say teach. You're going to clap twice and say okay. And I want you to turn and teach your coffee mug or your water bottle. Rule 1 with the gesture. Teach.
Okay. Rule 1. Follow directions quickly. Rule 1. Follow directions quickly. Rule 1. Follow directions quickly.
Class.
Yes.
Thank you, class.
You're welcome, Joanna.
Silent mirrors. So when we use silent mirrors, that means we want students to make our gestures, but they're not saying our words to us. Okay, so rule 1 is your secret to lightning fast transitions. How much time is wasted in our classroom every day by kids who are just going really slow, following the directions that we've given them? Rule 1 helps with that. So once you have taught your students rule 1 and they know it really well, what we can start doing is leveling that rule up. Sorry. There we go. So the first way we can do that is with the rule call out. So several times a day, what you're going to do is just randomly call out rule 1, and the students, as fast as possible, have to call out follow directions quickly. And you can give feedback to the response. If you're using Starries or Scoreboard or Super Improvers, this is a great way to incorporate those. So if you're playing Scoreboard and you call out rule 1 and the kids say follow directions quickly, you can say, oh, that was so fast. I'm giving you a hawk point. Or if it wasn't fast enough, you say, oh, I think you can do better, turtle point, and give them that turtle point. So again, you can incorporate our other games with this rule call out. So Weston, can you please explain the first power up we have for rule 1?
Thank you, Joanna. The first power up for rule number 1 is the rule call out. So throughout the day, if students are not following directions quickly, you could say rule 1. They're going to say follow directions quickly. If you're using Starries or Super Improver or Scoreboard, you could use that as a motivator as well. Oh, that wasn't quite fast enough. Turtle point. Or wow, that's getting so much faster. Hawk point.
Yes, awesome. And I forgot to say at the beginning of the broadcast, is Kyla is putting in notes into the comments. So if you've got your notebook and your pen out right now, put them to the side. You don't need those. Kyla is making all your notes for you. So she's got it. She's got it. All right. So our second power up, we're going back to silent mirrors. Weston, he knows. He's got it. Our second power up is the three-peat. Okay. Confession time. I didn't used to like the three-peat. When I first tried it, I was like, ooh, I don't like this. But then over the last 2 years, I love the three-peat. Okay. So here's how the three-peat works. You're going to teach the students that when you give them a direction like math books out, please, the students will say, okay, math books out, out, out. Or that's how my students do the three-peat. They pretty much just say the last word 3 times. You can make it work for you. If you want them to say math books out 3 times, then you do it that way. While they're doing this three-peat, they should be getting their math book out as fast as possible. And once they follow the direction, this is key. They need the closer. The closer is hands folded, eyes on the teacher, and for a bonus, they can smile. So, Weston, can you explain what the three-peat is, please?
Thank you, Joanna. The three-peat is when you give a rule, you could say, line up, please. They're going to say, okay, and then up, 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 or line up, line up, line up. Any of those 3 things. And then the end is when their hands are together, their voices are off, and the bonus is the smile.
Yes, yes. And importantly, while they're saying that three-peat, they are following that direction as fast as possible. And again, tie in those stories, that scoreboard, that super improver. Oh, that wasn't quite fast enough, turtle point. Or, wow, Jack, that is the fastest I've seen you get out that math book. I'm giving you a super improver star. Great way to incorporate those 3 classroom motivators again. You can help the students learn your three-peats. You scaffold it with them. So when I start doing them at the beginning of the year, like I will directly tell them, I'm going to say, take your math books out, please. And I want you to respond with, okay, math books out, out, out. So you directly instruct them what you want them to say. I also will say it with them. Usually I say it with them the entire year, although usually I'm not as loud as they are. You will find that you will have one student who becomes like your three-peat leader, and they're that kid who says it right away. They're leading the three-peat every time. I always love that. So you can scaffold it with your students. Tip for those of you who dread putting away school supplies on the first day of school, right? Pure chaos. This is a great time to practice the three-peat. And I do this on the first day of school. I teach them the three-peat, and then I'll say, okay, now we're going to practice it. And I'll say, scissors out, please. And the students say, okay, scissors out, out, out. And then I'll tell them where I want them to put their scissors in. And then I'll say like scissors in your art box, and they'll go scissors in your art box, scissors, however you want to do it. But it's a great way to practice three-peat and then also put away school supplies, which we all know, especially if you teach the littles, is chaotic. Okay, so Weston, can you repeat that back to me? Just explain how we can incorporate the three-peat with our 3 classroom motivators, and then also how it might help us even on the first day of school.
Thank you, Joanna. So we're going to use the three-peat to help students follow directions quickly, which is rule number 1. We're going to say, please open your math book, and they're going to say, okay, math book, math book, math book. As they're opening up their math book, we're going to use our motivator to give a star, a super improver star, or a hawk point or a turtle point, depending on how quickly they follow that direction.
Yeah.
We can use that at the beginning of the year as they're getting to know us and we're putting away all that school supplies. That's a great time to teach the three-peat, and they'll start using those three-peats by themselves.
Yes. I thought I saw a good question, but now I don't know where it was. Also, the three-peat is great for page numbers. Come out. How often have you said, open your book to page 75 and you have 5 different kids? What page? So the three-peat is a great way for the kids. If they say page 75 3 times, they're going to know what page they need to turn to. Okay, so that is how we're going to power up rule 1. And I'm going to go back. So this is the poster, the main poster that you can use for rule 1. But if you want something different, I love this one. Coach created a set of early childhood education posters for the rules. And oh my gosh, they're so stinking adorable. As soon as he created these last year, I was like, oh, printing them out. They're going up on my wall. So there's this one with little Twan, the little wolf. I think he's a wolf. And then, or if you teach upper grades who may not be into the, cutesy graphics, there is this one which just shows the gesture. It's very bold and bright. And Kyla is dropping in the link where you can get, there is a Google Slides file that has all of the graphics, not just for the rules, but every graphic that's in Coach's newest book is in that file. So you definitely want to grab that. Yes, Crystal, I agree. Oh, I clicked on the wrong one. I wanted to show Crystal's comment. They're really cute. They're really cute. All right, so let's move on to rule 2. Class?
Yes.
Thank you, class.
You're welcome, Joanna.
Mirror words.
Mirror words.
Rule 2.
Rule 2.
Raise your hand for permission to speak.
Raise your hand for permission to speak.
Rule 2.
Rule 2.
Raise your hand for permission to speak.
Raise your hand for permission to speak.
Mirrors off.
Mirrors off.
All right, you're going to teach that rule to your coffee mug or your dog. Teach.
Okay. Rule 2. Raise your hand for permission to speak. Rule 2. Raise your hand for permission to speak. Rule
Hey,
2.
class.
Hey, yes.
Thank you, class.
You're welcome, Joanna.
All right. So rule number 2. Okay, how often have you been teaching the most amazing, engaging lesson and a student blurts out, what time's lunch? Anyway, well, I don't know why I raised my hand. They don't raise their hand. They just blurt out, what time's lunch? Right? And then you blurt back, how many times have I told you not to blurt out? You need to raise your hand, right? A student blurts, you blurt, and it just goes back and forth. We lose instruction because of all this blurting. And we do this, the blurting happens because there are more connections from your brain's limbic system, which controls your emotions, that go to the prefrontal cortex, which is the boss of your brain, than vice versa. So there's more connections going. I don't really know where the limbic system is in my brain. It's somewhere deep in there. So I'm just grabbing the back of my head. But there's more connections that go here from the emotional to prefrontal cortex than from prefrontal cortex to limbic. So our brains mirror neurons train us to imitate the behavior that we observe. So that's why this blurting can happen. And if scolding worked, we would never have any beloved rascals. Coach would be writing best-selling books called Scold Your Way to Perfect Students or something like that. So what changes that behavior is practice, of course. So we're going to power up rule 2. We can do the same thing as rule 1 with the rule call out. Same idea, several times a day. You're going to call out rule 2, and the students as fast as possible call out, raise your hand for permission to speak. Okay. So Weston, what is our first power up that we can do for rule 2?
Thank you, Joanna. The first power up for rule number 2 is the rule call out. So anytime throughout the day, you're going to say rule number 2, and the students are going to say, raise your hand for permission to speak.
Yes, perfect. Our second power up is turtle hawk practice. It's also been, I used to call it right way, wrong way. Excuse me. Sorry. They mean the same thing. So after you've done this rule call out random times during the day, got to keep those kids on their toes. After you've done that for a while and the kids are responding the way you want them to respond, now you're going to practice what you want to happen when a student does actually blurt out during your lesson. Because as much as we practice these rules, kids are kids. And again, think about the connections. There's more going this way. So they're going to blurt. It's still going to happen occasionally. So you're going to practice it with the students. You're going to have a student say, okay, Maria, I'm going to start talking and I want you to blurt out, what time is lunch? Okay. So you start talking and Maria blurts out, what time is lunch? And praise Maria. Oh, good job, Maria. That was amazing blurting. Then you're going to tell Maria and the class, okay, I'm going to do that again. This time, when you blurt out, I'm going to say rule 2, and I want everyone in the classroom to respond as quickly as possible. Raise your hand for permission to speak. So again, you start talking and Maria blurts out, what time is lunch? And you call out rule 2, and the students say, raise your hand for permission to speak. Weston, can you explain our second power up, turtle hawk practice?
Thank you, Joanna. I think I can. Second power up for rule number 2, turtle hawk practice, or right way, wrong way practice, is you're going to select a student to be the blurter. And as you are talking, you're going to be talking and the blurter is going to blurt out, what time is lunch? And you're going to reward her for doing it the wrong way and saying, ooh, thank you for blurting, showing us the wrong way. Now, this time, when our student blurts, we're going to use our rule call out. And when she blurts, I'll say rule number 2, and the students will say, raise your hand for permission to speak.
Perfect. And I just realized that I made all these lovely banners, and I have not put up one except this last one.
You're still cool.
Thank you.
You're
You
welcome.
can't have the comments and the banners showing at the same time. So I forgot about all my banners. So it's fine though. Okay. And so what this does is if you are teaching a lesson, when that student blurts out, you're not going to let your limbic system control your prefrontal cortex, right? You're not going to blurt back. You are just going to call out rule 2, and the students are immediately responding, raise your hand for permission to speak. It's a great way to reset the class, and you're not scolding anyone. So you're not going home feeling guilty about scolding. How many times have I done that, right? I've gone home and felt so bad about some scolding I did. And then also that student is not, they're not getting publicly shamed, right? Because you're not directly saying to them, why can't you ever raise your hand or whatever. So, and it just kind of unites the class together, and it gives that student just a little reminder. I love this quote that Coach B has in his book. Whenever a rule is broken, a rule is strengthened. So think about that. Whenever a student is breaking a rule, like rule 2, we are going to strengthen that rule by having the kids practice it real quick with that rule call out. I mean, it's just genius. It's genius, Weston. It's genius. All right. So now let's just quickly review our 2 rules, and then we'll do some questions. So class.
Yes.
Thank you, class.
You're welcome, Joanna.
Mirror words.
Mirror words.
Rule 1.
Rule 1.
Follow directions quickly.
Follow directions quickly.
Rule 2.
Rule 2.
Raise your hand for permission to speak.
Raise your hand for permission to speak.
Mirrors off.
Mirrors off.
All right. I want you to teach your dog, as Melissa said she was teaching her dog. So teach your dog, her remote. She's teaching her remote. Teach your remote our 2 classroom rules that we've learned today. Teach.
Okay. Rule number 1, raise your hand for permission to speak. Rule number 2, raise your hand for permission to speak. Rule number 1, follow directions quickly. Rule number 2, raise your hand for permission to speak. Rule number 1. Hey, yes.
Thank you, class.
You're welcome, Joanna.
All right. So let's see some questions. Facebook user, how do you introduce turtle? I'm assuming that's turtle hawk practice. Now, I like turkey hawk practice though. I like that too. I mean, sometimes they are acting like a bunch of turkeys, right? Okay. So I usually, I'm trying to think. The first day is when I think that's when I introduced turtle hawk. Right way, wrong way. I teach this because, like I said, in the past, I've called it right way, wrong way. And I've shared that there's, in life, there's two ways to do everything. This comes from Nancy Stoltenberg. There is a right way to cross the street and a wrong way to cross the street. There is a right way to eat a taco and a wrong way to eat a taco. Although I kind of think if you're eating a taco, there is no wrong way to eat that. I tell the kids, just like in our classroom, there is a right way to line up at the door and there is a wrong way to line up at the door. And you can even show them, like have them show you, the wrong way to do things. And they love that, especially your beloved rascals. Right? Like they love that. They love getting to be silly and show you. And then you follow that up with, okay, now show me the right way to do that. So that was a great question. And then Sarah Tillinghast did insert from the website. I'll show that. That's a lot. So if you look for her comment, you can copy that right into your notes, along with everything that Kyla's been putting in there. All right. Some people are having trouble clicking on the links. Melissa says sometimes it is easier to click the links after the live. So if you are having trouble opening the links that Kyla's dropping in, maybe you do that. Oops. I'm getting too excited with my clicking here. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Nope, Susanna, you are showing up as Susanna. Hi, Susanna. You're good.
Joanna, excuse me. I saw a great comment from Lakidra earlier about being inclusive with Rule 2 callouts. There you go.
Yes, make sure we are noticing not a child. Yes, absolutely. I had a student, 4 or 5 years ago, who his stemming was humming. He would hum a lot. And once I noticed, once I knew that was him stemming, then I was like, oh, okay, that's just what he's doing. And we're not gonna call that out as breaking the rule. Thank you, Lakidra, for pointing that out. Okay, and just looking to see if there's any others. I find it hard to believe that, Weston. Yes, the motion again for Rule 1. So you can, there we go. You're just moving your hand like a fish. Okay. So you can do the hand or you can do the one finger. If you look at there it is. So the older grades poster, hold on. I'm trying to adjust my camera so you can see my hand. I don't know what's going on there. But it shows just the one finger out. But you can, either one is fine. Yeah. So it's like just moving like a fish. Yes. Okay. I'll hide that. Oh, I can relate so much to this. Yes, it is hard, especially if it is a student if that's their STEM. I get it. It's so hard. Because if that's their STEM, like they can't help it. But if it's not their STEM, if they're just like, I get kids like to hum or whistle. I don't know what it is, but kids who just like whistle just random, you know what I mean? Like they're not whistling an actual tune. It's just like random whistle notes. I don't know why that's one of those things that really is like a pet peeve of mine. I usually try and bring up Rule 5, make your team stronger, especially if someone else has said that's bothering me. we can't be a strong team if not everyone can learn. So that's a kind of a tricky thing. Good question. And I feel you on that one. Let's see. Yes, Facebook user. All of the training from now on are going to be in this format instead of the Zoom sessions, which is amazing because you don't have to go sign up on a link anywhere. You just come to Super Improvers, and even if you can't make the time that it's posted, it will be there for you to go back and watch. And there's actually at the top of the group, there's a guide or something that has links to or will have links to all of the trainings. So you can go back and watch them, even if you've already watched it and you're like, oh, wait, what did coach say about this one thing? And you can go back and find it. So yeah, awesome. Tell us a little bit more about mirror words. Yes. Okay, Weston, who is doing magic? Is it Nancy doing Magic Circle? Okay, Nancy's going to do Magic Circle. I don't know if she's doing mirror words this week because I know we're going to take Magic Circle has 5 parts, and you can easily spend an hour on that training. And so she's breaking it up into she'll do the first part, class yes. And so I'm not sure exactly when the mirror words training will be. If it's not this week, I'm sure it'll be next week. So yes, that is coming. Yes, you will be able to access them today. We are so excited that you're excited. Yes, whole brain teaching is amazing. I have heard from so many people who are like, I was thinking about leaving teaching, and then I found whole brain teaching, and now I love teaching again. And Kyla's pointing at herself in the studio. I'm also I was on the path to burnout for sure. And yes, whole brain teaching, amazing. We had the challenge of students who weren't stemming starting to hum because oh yeah. Whew, that's a tough one. That to me would be like a conversation with that student, private or whatever, and kind of explaining how we all have different needs and we all do different things to help us learn. And so, yeah, that's a tough one. Oh gosh, no pressure, Weston, but coach is here. Oh no. Hi, coach. Try not to judge us too much. All right. Do some of the mirror movements become boring to students? Is there a way to keep this more engaging as the year goes on? Yes, I am sure Nancy will go over this in her training. I didn't do a lot of it today, but you can make mirror words, class yes, thank you, you're welcome, all the parts of the Magic Circle, even rule rehearsal, more engaging by using different voices. So you can use a high voice or a low voice. You can do it fast, slow. You can do... I don't know. I've told kids let's do a baby voice, or one time we practiced the rules our principal would say. Our principal does morning announcements, and it's very distinct how he does them. And so I had the kids practice the rules like they were our principal doing morning announcements, and it was hysterical. So that's how you can keep the kids engaged, change it up, keep them on their toes. Because you're right, we don't want to habituate them to how we do things in the classroom. What does coach say? To change individual behaviors, go to Super Improver as soon as possible. Give the student a personal improvement goal. Yes, coach. There are some years where I cannot wait for Super Improvers. I need it immediately. Ooh, that's a good, wrong one. I'm getting better at this, maybe. There we go. Also, in place of mirror words, you can look at silent mirrors, which is kind of what Weston and I have been doing, and magic mirrors, which is when you say word, you are talking, but you're not making gestures, but your students make up gestures to go with your words. If you do that, make sure you speak slow enough for them. I've made that mistake before where I talk way too fast and then they can't keep up. I'm sure Nancy will go over that too. All right. Ooh, what does Patricia says? Great quote here. In WBT's view, all educational problems are problems with relationships. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that is a good place to end because we're at 30 minutes. And I don't know about you, Weston, but I know the pool's calling my name. So we're going to go ahead and sign off here. If you have more questions, you can still drop them in this feed, and I'm sure someone on staff will be able to answer them. If you have questions about other things like super improvers or scoreboard or magic circle or alpha hots, those trainings are coming. You can look in the group's events. I'm gesturing like I know where on Facebook it is. It's either at the top or on the side, but look at Super Improver events and you can see all the trainings coming up. Oh, thank you, Coach. Thank you so much. Weston and Kyla and I were so nervous because we were like, oh my gosh, Coach can definitely see us where you couldn't just pop into our Zooms before. And now you can. So anyways, thank you guys. Let me bring Kyla back on so she can wave goodbye. Thank you so much, everyone. And we will do rules 3 and 4 on Wednesday. Have a great 4th of July for those of you in the US who are celebrating that. Bye.